Welcome to the Conspiracy Pulpit. I am your host, Anonymous. I'm gonna cam up real quick so you can see hi, and then we're gonna cam down because I don't feel like being cammed up. So if you're new and you're joining us, follow us on YouTube. It's called the Conspiracy Pulpit on YouTube. Today's topic is
Today's topic is Cern opens the gates of hell.
so we're just gonna start going box by box. If you guys did your research, obviously not everybody here was part of the WhatsApp, so you guys didn't know ahead of time. So I guess we'll just wing it at this point. Technically, you're supposed to bring in one video to back up whether you believe Cern is opening the gates of hell, or if you believe Cern. If you believe Cern is doing something else, then you get the video to back up your theory about what Cern is doing. So we will begin with Baki, number one.
Let me go ahead and throw my specs on. Hello, everybody. My name is Baki Pat Dojo. I'm gonna go ahead and just with the things that I backed up. Hey, don't get mad at my glasses. I'll nerd out on you. All right. So hold up. Let me go ahead and just start to put a video out here. You do. All right. Now,
For those of you that can't see, double tap his box and it will enlarge.
this is just a YouTube video. You're not gonna go. You're just gonna listen to me. Okay. So, just for those who don't know what CERN is actually a place close to let me see. It is Vegas, close to France. And if I remember correctly,
Switzerland.
Switzerland, yeah. Switzerland and France, and right there next to Geneva. Now, CERN has been working on a project, which is the big, large Hadron Collider or Hetero Collider. And if you've seen things,
Got what? It tastes like vanilla.
all the movies that actually speculate going through a portal, then you actually know exactly what we're talking about. Now, this whole collider is 27 miles long, which is 2,017 kilometers wide. Um, Now, also, just updating on the place and value that is actually located, this is a sovereign state. So it's a self-governing place. So a lot of people can't really go there, but a lot of people do stay there. Now, I did some investigation and research on certain people who have researched and also worked on the project. You got someone like Anthony, what is his name? Anthony,
Fauci?
is that his name? Or is it no, Anthony Patch. Anthony Patch. That's what his name is. And he elaborates on the public that the agenda was for public views versus the inside views of what actually research is going on in the facility. And he says in today's hidden agenda is no longer hidden, meaning that they have letting us know for years since 1954, which has actually been founded. That's when the collider was actually founded. And a former, what's her name? I could pull her name up.
You got two more minutes. You got 2 more minutes left. I forgot to mention everybody's time. You got 2 minutes left.
Well, thanks for the fucking time. So let me go ahead and just skip ahead. Basically, this is a collider that actually opens up a gate to a certain dimension. Now, they don't know what's coming out of this portal, so called, but they had a upcoming um, speculation where they opened it again, and scientists and researchers have actually proven that something dramatically has happened. They have produced an AI, which is actually what is it called? It's called the architect. At least that's what
Five.
they call it by parentheses. And they have opened it. I think we're looking at it right here, where the AI actually finds a weak point to all the data that is collected. It's almost like 700 brains working as a supercomputer. And it found a weak point in our reality to actually open up the veil. When they open this veil, it stay open for 11 minutes. Now, this has happened more than once, but they've done it the last time. And they had researchers actually speculate where the Geneva had a cloud opening up around where they had the collider, as well as satellite, which is very far fetched. I'm echoing, but it's very far fetched where a satellite has actually intercepted the power grids around it. I actually started speculating and glitching out, and unknown entities that they speak to. So they let you know, researchers let you know that they have been speaking on the other side of this portal, and rather it's entities or rather it's demonic entities, they have said that they weren't looking at ancient gods that we used to pray to or anything like that, but they have opened it and they say they are watching travelers. Now, if you go back to like Job in the Bible, the devil was traveling throughout his time on earth from left to right, horizon to horizon, trying to tempt mankind into sin. Now, everything that this collider has to deal with is breaking the reality and bringing something on the other side in. And it hasn't been the same since. I'll stop there because there's a lot.
Thanks, Box. I think I'm gonna pick up where you went off because I don't want my phone to die. I'm on 23%.
So let number 7 start the timer for you.
All right, go ahead. Can I share the screen?
Wait, I forgot to mention, if two people end up getting into a, damn it, my computer froze. Hold on. If two people get up and end up getting into an argument, you will hear this sound. And then trivia will begin on the top. Random trivia questions. So try not to argue. Continue and walk by faith.
I believe Cern is practicing lesser magic to the demon. Or the guards go through here called Morax, who was a lesser magic. The book is written by Alistair Crowley, where he gives 72 demons who taught men how to use magic and crafting of things of pagan practices. I'm finna go off what Baki said. I'm finna share my screen. I'm finna show you the research that I did on it to back my claim. I don't know if y'all can see it. I know y'all not gonna be able to hear it.
Yeah,
but
we
it
see it.
won't.
We see it.
All right, so all right, I'm gonna put it up there, right?
The Large Hadron Collider
Yeah, we
is the
hear it.
world's most powerful particle accelerator. Particles moving at nearly the speed of light race around a 17-mile underground track. Researchers smash the particles together to recreate the conditions that present a
Smash particles together. Does that sound like something? And look how it's swirling around, like it's performing some type of spell, some type of magic. You see what I'm saying? Watch. I'm finishing.
billionth of a second after the Big Bang. They do this over and over and over again, up to 600 million times a second. Their detectors are so precise that they can take in each collision, which could create for a fraction of a second particles we've never seen before, and which could solve some of the biggest mysteries in the cosmos. Things
Mysteries,
like
huh?
why objects have mass, and what is dark matter, and supersymmetry, and maybe even find other dimensions in space. These discoveries could lead to technological innovations that can change the world, but
So
ultimately, the most
everybody
important
want to change something God created. Who wants to do that with nothing but Satan? I want you to listen to this guy right here, who is somebody that studies the practice. He was not in the dark arts, but he's going to say something about does he think magic is real? And I want to hear what you go hear this guy got to say right here. It's going to play 15 seconds of this clip.
It's a good sort of idea to have. And here again, don't become overly bothered trying to figure out whether you actually can bend reality. Become bothered by the fact that there are people who believe that they can and will go to great efforts to do so, and will often believe they have succeeded.
Hear that? See, don't be afraid of people that what's the name that do these things, but believe they can do these things. So what are those great efforts? I'm gonna go show you something
That's the
about this.
underworld. That's the underworld.
Right, right, right. So watch this. Look what it says. This is Morax. This is the Guard RTA. Look what it said. It says Ars Goetia, a demon Morax
I,
focused prominently on guidance, in particular astronomy, astrology, and liberal science. He can provide wise,
I,
familiar herbs, precious stones, grant influence over agriculture, governance,
yeah.
fictional interpretation. He is given destructive power and descriptions and focus on his wisdom. He do astronomy, liberal science. He teaches astronomy, philosophy, and mathematics. So I'm gonna show the signia of him. I don't like going to what's the name? His seagull. And I want you to tell me what it looked like.
That's the underworld. It's like people who be in reality is like the people who like they want to tear your world down, see everything crash and stuff. And that's like some
So,
demonic
so
ways
right.
and
So
stuff.
that's his seagull. That's what it looked like. And if you go look at that
And
thing and
that's
those particles,
there go the
hey, look,
story too.
hey, look, listen. If you look at how those particles accelerators was moving around with their red, don't it kind of look like that? The way they was doing those things.
Yeah, yeah.
What Cern is, if they would just indulge me for a little bit, they'll have a clear understanding of why they're doing it, what they're looking for, and what is the potential and the facts that will come out of these experiments. Cern, and amazingly, it won't come from the scientific community or anybody who has knowledge of physics. They will not tear it apart because they understand what I'm saying. So I'm gonna make this as basic as possible. I want you all to imagine, if you want to know what CERN is doing, I want you to imagine you come into a world and you find architecture all over the place, buildings and homes and houses, and you think they're beautiful and it's really a big discovery. You find out with the houses, you can house people. You can do many things with a house, with a structure. All of a sudden, after many years, you become curious and you say, what's holding all this together? And you begin to find not nails that you can take out, but glue that has bonded itself to the materials. And you become interested in that glue that's holding the structure together. And so you're fascinated by this glue, and you've tried everything to replicate it. You can't because it's hardened. Glue is hardened. You come to the realization the only way to find out how this glue is working is to break it down to its basic particles. And you have to have that glue in its former state, not the state after it's already hardened, right? So you don't want it in the cured state, the state that you can see. You want it in its initial state, which is a liquid state, before it hardens. And so CERN, basically, is a device that will allow them to examine particles in their initial state, not after everything is bonded together.
Were you guys able to hear that?
Yeah, we heard it.
Okay, so I'm just this is my conclusion here. So for me, I'm a Christian, and I believe that when Satan tempted Eve in the garden, he said that she'll be like God, like the Most High, that booted him out of heaven in the first place. And he gave her that same promise that she would be like God, all knowing. Well, that's the problem that we're having today. We're trying to be like God. So if we can figure out how to how the universe work in a way, I feel like that we're doing something that led, that is right back to where we started, trying to be like God, playing with things that we ought not to play with, and that is not in our human intellect to deal with, if that makes sense. It's hard for me to articulate it very well, but that's what I think that is going on, is that these people are trying to put their selves in the place of God. That's my conclusion.
Well, it's obvious that we're all in agreement. Um, Mr. Bojango, you wanted to go?
No, I don't have anything. You'll go ahead.
Interesting that they mentioned that. That they already know what's gonna happen. That they know because of the rituals that they practice, the gods that they worship in front of Cern, which is Krishna, Shiva, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think it's Krishna, no, Krishnu or Brava and Vishnu or something like that. Some Hindu gods. But it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't need to raise your hands, just talk. There's not, you could stop the timer thing. I only wanted it when the panel was full.
Two demons that was what's the name?
The Solomon sigils?
Yeah, that's what they're called. They're called the R72 Gotier. That's what it's called. If you go look at the place where they're building CERN there from an overhead view and look at them seagulls, you can match them up perfectly. You can match them up perfectly if you see what I'm talking about. Watch.
I really wish the YouTube was working right now.
Look,
Was my
this an
video
overhead.
choppy?
No,
Hey,
yours was
look.
good.
Hey, look. This an overhead view. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Look
of the
at that.
Hadron Collider.
Yeah. Hey, look. So look at that specifically. You see that right there? Now watch this. You can't tell me it is not no similarities. Hold on, where's it at? You can't tell me. You can't tell. Look at that.
Wait, go back.
To put it out there as well,
Look,
all of this is
look,
founded
look,
on
look, look at it.
some
Look,
Roman.
look, look at that. That's an overhead view. Look at that. Look at that. Now go back to this.
Yep.
Mm, interesting.
Yeah,
Well, they're
man, just if
definitely
you
all devil worshippers, though.
yeah,
But
yeah, but like it's no this is what I'm saying. It's no coincidence that they chose to build that exactly like that signia. If you ever try, hey, look, I don't like talking about it. That's what I'm telling y'all. So listen, if you ever go look at the signias of all 72 Gautiers, they look just like phone chips. They look just like computer chips and everything like that. All those signals, those signias. Hold on.
Yep. That's how they
Right,
program your computer as well.
right, right,
all
right.
all
And,
all I
and
all I know is that I'm going to sleep with the light on tonight.
You
nah,
stupid.
pray,
You
pray
stupid.
tonight.
Hold on, watch this.
Pray tonight. Your heart is your light.
So
And
watch this.
say something. Go ahead, Walt. Go ahead and get it out.
Yeah, hold on, wait a minute. I just got to show you
Get
these
up.
seagulls, man.
Sigils.
Yeah, Look at him. Look at him.
So there's also a conspiracy claiming that these sigils are the emojis in our phones, and that each emoji is technically a demon trapped by Solomon in a sigil, and we're using them in our phones.
I can see that.
Okay, so what I wanted to wake up was the AI name. It's actually a diabetic quantum computer, which is an AI program that is predictive programming. So it keeps the new world order type ordeal, and they takes everything from us, rather it's sins or rather it's things that basically gives the composition of God. Now, Lucky, the thing is, Satan and Eve in that garden,
Hey, y'all, that was
but he was
wild,
also
yo.
telling the truth.
That was wild, yo. My phone.
You know that half truth?
Oh, I'm sorry, Michael. My phone died.
Oh, your phone just died?
My phone died on 7%.
Oh, dang.
Go ahead.
But here it is in the Garden of Eden. If you know the first 3 chapters, like I had an argument with some individuals about this. Here it is where the serpent deceived but also told the truth. Adam and Eve only knew good. They only knew good when they were created. They didn't know evil until they ate the apple, or well, the forbidden fruit. I ain't gonna say apple. That's a social construct. When they ate the fruit, here it is in chapter 1. It says that you are made in God's image. That means you are of God. You are a God. Meanwhile, you're not the creator. That's understanding in its whole understanding. The lie comes in is that when Eve told the serpent that we're not supposed to eat of the fruit or touch the fruit, or we should surely die. The serpent immediately lied so that it will make us die, or not make us die. He wanted us to die. He already plotted murder in his heart. That's where the evil and pride, like all the pride and everything, you starting to plot against your own brethren and sister because you want to exalt yourself above them when God gave you glory, the kingdom of heaven, you're supposed to inherit. He wanted to inherit. So here it is where he lies. He says, you won't die. In fact, your eyes will be open as soon as you eat it, and you will be like God.
So what's your connection? What is your connection with this concern?
If you just let me finish real quick. How can you be like God when you're already in the image of God? That was the lie. Now, here it is going back to Cern, where they're deceiving us in the matter by showing the subliminals, also seeing how we're going to respond and deceiving us in that matter, as if, oh, we don't know that they're trying to tap in, but yet you've snitched on yourself. You basically telling us. And it's our choice to use our discernment to actually understand due to their research and telling us, because they believe in karmic retribution. That's why they got to tell us these things. If they don't tell us, then they feel like bad things are going to happen to them. And just like how the number 2 religions or ways of living now, it's not just Christianity. The top 2 that are rising is Wiccan and Islam. That's the top number 2. It's no longer Christianity. Christianity is actually declining because of how people are actually perceiving the world now, and how Stephen Hawking said it. They're trying to create a world that is not necessary to have God in it. From Stephen Hawking's all the way to today, this has been since 1940, 1948, when they created the UN. when the UN was created, they made all these movies to see how the UN was going to be formed. Like, let me see, Star Trek. Star Trek is literally showing that, hey, we're trying to get all of our governments together for that whole new order.
Mhm.
And here it is where CERN is opening these portals, trying to open up the portal. And at one point, it was in America, you know, Area 51, but there was actually a fire as well as a disaster that happened in Area 51. They
Mr.
showed these.
Mr. Bojingo, we're gonna have to bring the timer back up for Baki. He likes to ramble.
Hey, I'm sorry I did my research. My bad. Here it is where, like, if you've ever seen Big Hero 6,
Give
and I
him
know
2
this
minutes.
is a cartoon and everything, but here it is where they had a failed experiment trying to actually get Collider that they built into a whole nother dimension, and it blows up on itself. And then the dude tries to rebuild it so he can get his daughter back or whatever. All of that is just basically you trying to create something of a portal and trying to get something out of it. And they don't even know what they're opening the portal for. They know that it's not radiation coming out of it. You got communications on the other side, but yet you don't know what the hell is going to come through. But yet you're just telling the public that. You're
So I just
deceiving us by telling us the truth, but also telling the lie.
so I kind of
That's what
disagree with that. I kind of disagree with that statement. They know what's coming through. Let me pull up.
it said.
I mean, they do because they worship
I
these
just said that.
beings that they're trying to
I
get
just said
come through.
Look at
Yeah.
this.
I just said that. They said it is publicly, meanwhile they're hiding their agenda. So just to pick up to where I was
What's the
speaking
big?
on. The dude who actually is the researcher, a former researcher of it, his name's Anthony Patch, as I said. He was working on the project telling us that he researched a lead and it led him to knowing the CERN's hidden agenda behind the public agenda. And its so-called nuclear research facilities utilizing the particles collider. Um, circular, let me see. Just like the Vatican, they're doing all this other research. And to elaborate what's going on, in today's hidden agenda is no longer hidden. Last year, a former leader, which her name was, I just had it up. Let me see. Her name's like Fer something. Let's Her last name's Giovanni. Okay. Miss Giovanni. That's what we're gonna call her. Miss Giovanni was basically telling the public of what it was that they were doing. And the goal was to open a dimension gateway to another dimension, which we know as portals. So if they know that they're trying to open these portals and they said it verbally, sunshine, they're opening a portal.
So there's a video of Michio Ukaku actually admitting that they're opening portals. They're no longer hiding it. It's out
Who's
there.
that? Is that the
Yeah, they've
new
been open
leader?
about it.
The Japanese scientist Michio Ukaku. I might be saying it wrong. Okay, here it comes. Hold on.
That I have written here.
It wasn't for fucking YouTube.
Now, this is something that's so funny because I was reading on this and I was like, so this recently just happened where this kid named Max Lohan, the same time that those two African children sat there and was solving Pythagorean theorem, this 13-year-old kid who built a fusion device, he sits there and tells us that CERN's quantum AI didn't just smash particles together, but also tore a whole new reality itself. After he reappeared with documents of the equations and confessing in his final pages, revealing the statement, the portal has opened for this was 11 minutes by no accident. According to Max, CERN didn't restart the collider to hunt particles, but created a AI designed to calculate beyond human limits, bending probability itself. Then continues to say, the system made to scan trillions of scenarios per second to find one of the frequencies to weaken what we call the veil. It's controlled by the collider. The data showed and spiked. No collaboration test could explain. But then also, CERN calls it a power fluctuation, which was happening around that time, what I elaborated earlier. While little 13 Max, calls it a breaching point that had a change in our normal reality after it closed, after that 11 minutes of it being open. And that's where all the tremors that aren't earthquakes, but they knew that there was something underneath the ground taking effect. Now, I told you that this thing is like 27 miles all the way around, where like Vault by Faith showed you a good diagram of it, and you see exactly the placements of it, how like it looks demonic and how it has all these like emblems and satanic things going on with it. Here it is where power grids went out, it was flickering without warning, bursts of static from radio signals on dead frequencies. You know, you ever went to 91.1 stuff and there's just a frequency, you getting all that static in there. And then I'm not gonna elaborate on the satellite because it's like, is there really satellites or are they using those, you know, those wires throughout the ocean from one coast to the next? But CERN's facility sits on an ancient Roman site that's tied to the gateways of the underworld. That should tell you right there.
Amen.
Which
We're gonna
facility?
piss
Because they
God
have
off.
multiple.
Some
CERN has
researchers say
multiple
that
sites.
you said what?
They have multiple sites.
Of course, but this is actually one of the main sites.
Yeah, it's
This
the
is the one
largest
that
one.
they don't, and this is actually, if you were here earlier, I said this is a sovereign state, just like DC, just like Area 51. This is a sovereign state where individuals can't go to. Certain people can't go to these places. It's like Vatican. Like certain people, you can't go anywhere around these places. So with these like researchers saying all of this, they also said
Hold on.
the ancient ones, the ancients weren't praying to gods. They were praying to travelers, watching travelers, watching travelers. Who we know that was traveling vividly? Said this earlier from Job. Satan. Satan
Well,
is.
can I say this too?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So, I mean, because this is, you know how they say you got to be concerned with CERN, right? So, I guess my concern is I wonder if we ever succeed in bringing these entities through, and, and of course, these things are evil. So, we won't have the power to be able to fight them once they become too much. Do you
Oh
guys
yeah.
think that that's when revelation will come through and God and his angels, like what it says in Revelation, will come down and defeat the dragon, aka Satan? Because I think that's when we have gone too far.
Well, this is the thing. We've already went too far. Only because here it is where we're in so we're in this cycle of war all the time. It's almost like a distraction. And wars where hearsay, she say, and they start wars for no apparent reason. You're fighting for the wrong cause, and it's all led to this. Even when it came down to Hitler sat there and was trying to fight against all of this, all of the principalities.
7 days.
And
Are we
still
seeing this?
believe.
You know what that means. 6 7, 6 7, 6 7, 6 7. Guys, Christmas is in 67 days.
Come
Yeah,
on.
Are we
I'll wait.
seeing this? You know what that
It
means.
won't let me click it.
Christmas is in 67 days. Are we seeing this?
What the hell? This phone is so fucking slow. Y'all can hear it?
Yeah, we can
Yeah, I
definitely
can
hear it.
hear it.
You could keep going.
I can hear it.
Where the fuck did it go now? Oh, okay.
Here it is where I think Walk by Faith, he would have pulled it up if he was here. But it talks about when people wish that the Messiah came back. And it's going to be a dark time when that even happens. Like everything, there's going to be nothing but darkness going on. So here it is where we're already in that time where war is already normal.
When I was girl, it was procured.
We're already in that time where war is always happening, and we're always trapped in that cycle, fighting for the wrong causes, people dying for the wrong reasons, and people being deceived just for $1. By the
They were white
time
as me.
portal and demons
When I was
are already here, how you gonna know the difference until everything is dark, everything is dying? We're already in the end time.
Back to that time when you're babysitting him, and tell me what happened.
Can you hear it?
Most definitely.
Okay, I gotta get a battery. I was babysitting him, and they had a lot of ancient art.
Can y'all hear that?
Back to that time when
Yeah,
you're
but we hear it.
him, and
Go
tell
ahead,
me
go
what
ahead.
happened there.
Okay, I gotta get a battery. I was babysitting him, and they had a lot of ancient artifacts and stuff. He didn't have any normal toys, and he got into his mother's trunk. I always called it her African trunk because she told me she's from Africa, and there was these statues in there, like little, action figures. And he was sitting up in a certain way, like a little Stonehenge on his bed, and his room was dark. It's always dark in there. And even though his room faced the street, it was like blackout curtain on that side. So he couldn't see out, and it was the house almost across the street. And he set him up in a certain way. And when a little kid's sneaking and you still see that they're sneaking and they're trying to be sneaky and you think it's cute. You know what I mean? They're trying to hide something, but they're cookie. He's kind of being like that, happy, but it was wicked. And he said, "Call me Moon." He said, "Moon, come play with my friends." He's so excited. And I knew something weird was going on in there. And there was wind and energy. And
Back to that time when you're babies.
She said the mother told her she's from Africa. She was babysitting him in America. They were already here. Hold on, let me find the part 2. Why isn't this shit working? Okay, part 2.
something, a portal started. He didn't have any normal toys. And a portal, a Stargate, whatever. But he was excited and he was jumping up and down. And
he was able to open up a Stargate in his room.
Whatever you want to call it. It was a different
portal. Well, portal would be actual name.
And I've been so embarrassed to say it out loud that everybody would laugh at me or lock me up. I told my aunt
So tell me what happened. Something's not right. Something's scary in that room. You describe what you see and what happens.
I went to the edge of the doorway and I peeked in there, and I was afraid just to peek. And there was something happening in there, like a sci-fi movie. And there was something, he set him up like a little Stonehenge on his bed. And he was tiny, like I told you, so tiny. And he was jumping up and down, and he was saying, Moon, come play with my friends. Okay, that right there says he knew exactly what he was doing. It wasn't like he accidentally opened a portal and didn't know what he had friends. So I peeked in there. I was so scared. I'm embarrassed to tell this. It's so ridiculous, like weird. And he was being lifted, and he was starting to go. He was being lifted, and like he was being lifted, and was being sucked in. I know this sounds ridiculous, but my aunt told me don't let nothing happen to that effing little kid. And normally I would never let anything happen to a child that was watching. I would run between them and a pit bull. And I said, the way she said it, I said, why? And she goes, he's going to rule the world someday. And I'm like, what? Him? What do you mean? Why? And she said, don't you know nothing? They're the Illuminati. She would always do that to me. But she'd say, don't let nothing happen to him. He's going to rule the world someday. And I was like, something, the portal, a Stargate, whatever. But he was excited, and he was jumping up and down.
Hold on.
And was being sucked in. I know this sounds ridiculous, but my aunt told me don't let nothing happen to that effing little kid. And normally I would never let anything happen to a child that was watching. I would run between them and a pit bull. And I said, the way she said it, I said, why? And she goes, he's going to rule the world someday. And I'm like, what? Him? What do you mean? Why? And she said, don't you know nothing? They're the Illuminati. She would always do that to me. But she'd say, don't let nothing happen to him. He's going to rule the world someday. And I was like, you know, so I grabbed his little arm and I got sucked in. It's like we went up and then we went down.
Why does it sound like that?
And it was glowing. And I can only tell you that when I remember my peripheral vision because I was afraid to look at it, because when you're a little kid, you look at the cartoons and there's a bad boogeyman in the Scooby-Doo and you see its glowing eyes. It's like, don't look at his eyes, he'll get you. And I remember that whole, if you don't look at their eyes, they can't get you. And I was being sucked in and sucked down, and I had his little arm. And it was weird because there was no bottom. And in and sucked down, and I had his little arm, and it was weird because there was no bottom, and there were these creatures in there, and they were giant, and they were semi-shaped like humans. They were glorious. They weren't like Smeagol's or any creepy little demon dudes. They were like beautiful, ancient creatures that moved in a different time, and they were giant. And they had a different head, there was a bird head and a cat head and a jackal head. And I would compare them because I'm not super educated to Egyptian type of things. So the types of things may have little artifacts of. I'm not from that region, but
this also describes angels and devils in the book of Revelation. With multiple heads, different animals pointing different ways. Yeah,
the angels have many faces.
The guards of the gates of the Garden of Eden, right?
Yeah.
Even alone, that sort of stuff, what you're describing.
And they were beautiful, but terrifying. They weren't on my side. I'm on Team Jesus. And but I was told not to say that name over there. And
because they would flee.
My aunt told me never say that name over there. They don't want to hear Jack Black about your Jesus. And I said, because I remember when I got saved, I wanted to go save everybody. And she's like, don't you say that name over there. She said,
Okay, well, let's finish the story, and then I want to go to your conversion and how you got saved.
okay. So we're coming down in there. One of them grabbed me by the throat, and I closed my eyes, and I had him. I was tiny, like a little rag doll compared to it. And then sat down, and it was weird because like there was.
Bro, if my mom gets me
Hold up.
another Barbie for Christmas this year,
And sat down, and I had his little arm.
Okay, I guess
And it
that's
was
the last
weird
one.
because like there was no
But
bottom.
it's missing a part because there's another part after that. This channel must not have it. So that's another topic we could discuss where she mentioned that when she went through the portal.
Sitting him and
Hold on. Then when she went through the portal,
tell me what
she
happened
saw
there.
these giant what did she use the word? She didn't say beasts. She just said entities that look like animals, half humans. So that's another topic we could discuss because I have the belief that Anubis was a real entity. What are the other ones? The one with the head of the eagle, Anubis, Osiris. Those are real, and those were real entities that they actually saw with their eyes, which is why, because they actually saw them, the fallen angel children.
Follow on Rumble, Anonymous 184.